We are positioning it as the first node-operated blockchain depend phone, which is designed for mass adoption. We are backed by Razer.com, Saxon Capital, Coin Funds, Cogent Ventures, Dragonfly as well. The device enables users to conveniently experience the benefits of passive rewards offered by Web3.
Alrighty, thank you for doing this, sir. To start, can you please tell me your name and what you do?
Sure. I'm Peter Huang, and I'm the co-founder and core contributor of XForge, where we are building the first blockchain-powered depend smartphone. And our focus and vision is on bringing Web3 with consumer technology to create a seamless Web3 onboarding experience with passive rewards to average user, where they can generate decentralized infrastructure. My previous background was with a Y Combinator-backed startup called GoTrades, the first commission-free stock trading application in Asia itself, which I led until 2021. And in 2022, 2023, I started the project with X Protocol and XForge with the same vision of onboarding the next generation of new, I would say, users from Web 2 into Web 3.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack there. Let's start with the last thing you said. So before you were in Web 2, and is that correct? You would consider
Yes.
yourself yeah. And then you moved into Web 3. Could you tell me why you decided to move into Web 3?
Sure. So the previous startup was essentially the vision for the previous startup was essentially to bring the next generation of people in the world of financial markets themselves, and we saw a gap in bringing in a new product offering commission-free US stock trading to Asia itself, and we were the first to do that as well. And during my travels in Southeast Asia, with Indonesia itself as a focus, I noticed that there were more crypto users than the traditional, I would say, investors in the equities themselves. There was
Interesting.
an exchange called Indodex, which had over 2 million active users on the network, and the entire Indonesian market at the time, which was 2019, had about 1 million stock traders, stock investors at the time. So one crypto exchange had more users than the entire stock market from the retail perspective itself. So this is when I saw that crypto and Web3 was the first, I would say, step for people into the world of financial management itself. And this is when we also conceptualized the idea of X Protocol and XForge as the hardware that helps to bridge, I would say, the next wave of millions of people, not only in Asia, but also outside of Asia and beyond into the world of essentially decentralized money and decentralized infrastructure, and the rewards to be able to essentially start the first step into the world of this decentralized infrastructure and money, which is Web3, which is the ethos of Web3 in general.
Very cool. I bet this is also true in other areas of the world. Like I'm just imagining like Africa or Latin. But for me, coming from America, this is a little surprising information. But I mean, it totally makes sense that there would be a lot more crypto users than, like traditional stock market users. Okay, so let's get into XForge to start with that. Can you please just kind of tell me more about XForge and how does it relate to X Protocol?
Sure. So XForge we are positioning it as the first node-operated blockchain depend phone, which is designed for mass adoption. We are backed by Razer.com, Saxon Capital, Coin Funds, Cogent Ventures, Dragonfly as well. The device enables users to conveniently experience the benefits of passive rewards offered by Web3, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network in particular, and it is powered by the protocol that we've built in 2022-2023, X Protocol, which is an entertainment and depend-focused ecosystem with 1.5 million monthly active users. We started this venture as the protocol only itself. X Protocol itself, it's a layer 3 blockchain built on top of Base. So we have Ethereum as a base L1, base as L2, and the X protocol is the L3. I think currently we are one of the biggest L3s operating in existence, mainly through our gaming ventures that we have incubated as well, which have grown to 1.5 million active users in themselves. And we were looking. So the idea behind XForge was when we started looking for ways to decentralize the network as soon as widely as possible on a global scale itself. And we thought that doing this through hardware would be the most crypto native way to do that. Essentially, it doubles as a proof of work, essentially. So each device doubles as a node. Might call it validator that helps to secure the chain itself, and by users, each user and each holder of the phone is essentially renting out the compute to be able to essentially validate the chain itself, and they are rewarded with it with our own native token, as well as other tokens which we have incubated under our ecosystem itself. So apart from our own native token, we are also rewarding them with partner tokens that we do with different projects that want to access to our user base, as well as incubated projects. One of them being OpenAware, which is an AI infrastructure project. Also building on top of the devices, they are looking to store their AI models and build their own agent-to-agent communication protocol powered by our devices, which will also be churning out the tokens as the rewards to our own community.
Okay, great. All right, so forgive me, I'm not the most technically minded person, or I mean, I would like to be much more technically minded. So let me walk through this a little bit, and you can correct me as we go. Okay. All right,
Sure.
because I think for a lot of our users, it's kind of like a lot of these words and concepts make me confusing because they are a little bit to me. So you said that so XForge is the first node operated deep in phone. And I just want to break that apart piece by piece so that everybody
Sure.
understands what we're talking about. So
Yes.
so
Sure.
first of all, let's talk about deep in. Can you just kind of briefly explain what this concept is for my audience?
Sure. So DeepIn is essentially stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. Itself, there were only a few, I think, successful projects in the space. I think one way to explain it is essentially by operating as the player or nodes within the network itself, and each centralized. So the vision is to move away from the centralized, I would say, entities
Yeah.
as well that control all the data, all the computes, and all the rewards that are being accrued are go to those centralized entities themselves. So the idea of DeepIn or decentralized physical infrastructure networks is to decentralize it and put the power and the rewards in the hands of the users.
For example, like I know that some of the first deep in networks that I'm familiar with are like trying to replicate cellular networks, where usually you have like a centralized company like in America, Verizon or AT&T, and they have cell towers
Yeah.
everywhere, and that's a centralized service. The hardware is owned by that one entity, and that's how you get your cellular service. But then a deep in version of this would be individuals run those cellular nodes, those towers, and you're able to join or get cellular service from this kind of decentralized network of individuals running something. Is that correct? Something like that?
Yes, yeah. So that's essentially the concept. So
Okay.
I think the important element of that is the monetization and the rewards elements of
Yeah.
it. So those centralized entities essentially harnessing the data and the computes and taking to themselves being like for-profit enterprises themselves. With the deepened, we are able to kind of distribute those rewards across the user base, which is you, right? And another example, it's Helium. I think a very successful
Yeah.
example in the US itself, which essentially decentralized your mobile data, right? And then the network across. as well, to be
Right.
able to offer the internet service and accruing the rewards to you for being able to rent out your network,
Right.
contributing your network to your
So
device.
for XForge, each phone is a node running the X protocol. Is that correct?
Yes, as well. So the chain itself, it's our protocol itself. Our chain, it's not our main product. We like to call ourselves more of a chain agnostic because we also work with other chains themselves. But the base infrastructure from which we build the nodes itself. Attached to the phone, it's our own blockchain. So incidentally, as the network becomes bigger, we might become the most decentralized chain, one of the most decentralized chains in globally as well.
Right.
But as I mentioned, our chain itself is not our main product. Our main product is the phone. So we are
Yeah.
also looking to integrate with other players, Helium, and other different projects as well to integrate with the phone itself, to be able to also be the first, I would say, onboarding step for the global user base. That
I
might
see.
not necessarily be crypto natives. About 30% of our users are not crypto natives themselves. And how we know that,
And
it's after buying the phone, they would ask us how to set up the wallet, how to run the nodes themselves. So we go through that entire kind of educational step towards it. We explain a lot of what is a deepen itself. Recently, we have also changed the approach. We stopped calling ourselves deepen to the wider audience. So we to simplify it. And so simply, this is
what do you
simply
call
a phone
yourselves?
that
Oh,
earning phone.
okay. I
Simply
see.
an earning phone.
I
So
see.
the phone that essentially makes money, right, for
Yeah.
you. It itself, so that we don't need to explain what is the DeepIn, what is the crypto, because most people, like the wider audience, doesn't really care about the underlying tech, right, whether we like it or not. And to make it as simple as possible, we need to essentially make it in a more digestible format
That makes sense
itself.
to me.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's essentially a phone that allows you to earn rewards, money, just by using it itself, and we do that by the underlying crypto technology, right, or blockchain technology that powers it, the entire ecosystem global.
Hmm. Okay, great. So my next question was going to be about like there are a lot of phones coming out, blockchain related phones coming out, like Solana Seeker is coming out, and the Ethereum based Degen 1 is coming out. And I was going to ask you about what sets you guys apart from them, but it sounds like the biggest differentiator is that you're focused on creating this phone where the compute from the phone is being used to um, kind of secure a network, your network or another network or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So the compute itself, so what differentiates us from Solana Seeker and other, I would say, Web3 smartphone players. And as of now, we stand as the third biggest Web3 smartphone player, just by from the distribution point of view. It's the compute part and the rewards part. So Solana Seeker is a great onboarding kind of tool and device for Solana ecosystem with multiple airdrops coming. We are chain agnostic, so we are also working with other chains, other L1s and L2s as well, to onboard their community into our infrastructure, and also helping them to scale the community for their own chain and their own ventures that they are incubating themselves. So the compute itself lies at the core of it. As long as people are using the phone, there's a proof of work involved. They are eligible for the rewards under our ecosystem, and also under the ecosystem of other projects which are working with us.
Very, very cool. Okay, this is going to be a more technical question, I guess, for myself. How does the reward mechanism work exactly? Like in my mind, this is how I think of it. The processing power of the phone is being used to do some blockchain execution. Is that not it, or is it like some kind of more active role that the phone user has to take?
Yeah, so our infrastructure is built as L3, so there are sequencers which are built on top. Each phone in the future would act as essentially a validator to the chain, to the
Okay.
transactions for our own blockchain that we are building itself, and with the proof of work that there is a compute, that there is an uptime, that you are just not bought the phone and just leave it somewhere in a corner and not using it. We actually want to incentivize it, incentivize the usage, as long as you can prove that and we can detect that on our ends, and there is a compute use from our devices. You are eligible for the rewards from our own native token of X protocol, as well as the tokens from the project that we are incubating.
So this proof of work is a user doing actual physical movements or interacting with his smartphone in some way. For example, like posting on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, something like that, or
So it's less of a questing side, is more of the usage side. So the user doesn't need to interact actively with any of the applications as long as they are using the phone. The compute renting works in the background, which is the special part of our hardware. We are able to implement. We were able to implement that as well. So they don't need to. Well, there will be some projects that we are working with that want to, I would say, do the airdrop to our device holders, and then there's questing. So there's like third-party tokens, but for our own token, there will be no need to interact with any specific quests as well. It's less of like a Telegram app of kind of questing kind of structure, and more like a compute renting kind of infrastructure that we have built. So as long as you're using the phone, you can make the calls yourself. As long as there is uptime and the phone is on itself, you're going to accrue more the rewards than somebody who uses the phone less.
okay, I see. I'm sure you have some software or something to kind of uh, prevent gaming of the system. I imagine that that's also a pretty big consideration.
Yeah, so this is the prototype we're launching soon. So people just
Cool.
need to type, and and after that, as long as they are using the phone, they are able to the software itself, the node software runs in the background itself. So yeah, so we have a couple of preventive systems to make sure that users are using our phone. They're not trying to game the others. One of them, it's implementation of IMEI number, which is the unique number for each phone itself. So they need to open the pre-installed application by insert the unique number assigned to each phone, which is IMEI number, and complete a few steps to be able to set up the node running operation.
Cool. All right, and also, what is your token name? Please tell me a little bit about the token.
Sure. So the token name is KICK, KICK. The idea for the idea for that ticker, it's essentially you are using the phone and you're mining the token and you're getting the kick out of it.
What do the tokenomics look like?
Yeah, so 20% it's allocated to the node runners, and 10% of the token supply it's allocated to the phone holders. On each phone, you can run up to 20 nodes themselves. So the total of 30% of the token itself is allocated to our node runners and phone holders themselves. And the token itself is native to X protocol, not necessarily native to XForge. We're just using it as an additional incentive. The XForge device itself doesn't have its own assigned native token that we plan for because we're positioning ourselves as blockchain chain agnostic themselves, but there will be multiple airdrops into ecosystem. Think of I think the easier way to think about it is there's a Solana. Solana for us is like X protocol, and and the phone itself, it's a separate what's it, venture itself with separate roadmap as well for scaling.
Very nice. Cool. All right. I heard that you were just at ETH Denver. Can you please tell me how ETH Denver went for you guys at XForge? Number one, and number two, just in general, what you felt about ETH Denver. How were the vibes there?
Sure. So it was a great experience for us at XForge, and we had a strong presence showcasing the prototype of our smartphone and good let's say response itself. I think the overall vibe at Denver this year was high energy and very builder focused. There was a clear shift happening with from just speculative crypto, especially from the events that we were participating with, the real world applications. Deep in AI was a major theme, as people were just looking beyond just DeFi and other things into more practical outside solutions to disrupt the traditional, not only crypto industries. We have hosted an opening event with over 5,000 participants as well, and our own AI and Deepen Renaissance event, that we call it, with 500 participants, with panels from Borderless Capital, Aether, Demo, U2U, Bitcoin.com also participated as well. So I don't think it was very, very good. Content-wise, it was one of the best conferences we have attended. There was less noise and there was more of a focus on the practical applications of crypto. And we were right. I would say we are right in the middle of it with our product.
No, that's great to hear. I didn't attend. I wasn't able to attend, but at least on crypto Twitter, which admittedly is often very distorted from reality. It did seem that there were a lot of people kind of complaining. I mean, I guess that's just the general feeling on crypto Twitter about Ethereum, but it seems to me that you're saying like on the ground at the event, it was very different than how it was maybe being portrayed on the crypto timeline.
Yeah, I think it also depended on which events you were participating at itself. There were quite a number of AI and Deepen events which were very helpful itself. Obviously, there was a lot of talks about AI agents with that hype as well, but very much practical applications. The market was already settling down. It was not like at the peak that we've seen in January itself. So people and the builders were really focused on, I would say, what's the next big step, what we have achieved last year, and what are the things that we are looking forward to this year and the next year.
Cool. All right. Well, let me ask you a follow-up question on that. Can you please tell me what are you looking at? What do you think about like AI agents, and what are going to be the kind of big movers in that over the next year or two?
Sure.
Like
Yeah. So from the
narratives-wise.
AI, yeah, the narratives wise, I think hardware, it's going to be a big part of it. And AI agents, the way we are integrating the AI agents into that, it's with our incubator project, Openware, which is going to store the AI models on our devices to create the agent-to-agent communication network, which is lacking. Currently, the agents are being built vertically as well, but with the agent-to-agent communication network, they'll be able to learn from each other as well. So that's the next evolution. So we might actually, with our devices and then the model, if we manage to integrate it properly, actually we can make that space evolve even faster itself. I think that hardware is the next step of the evolution. So I might be biased because those are the events which we're attending. This is our product, obviously, as well. But I generally believe that this is a natural evolution. Blockchain has been historically only software driven. But for, I would say, true decentralization, we need hardware that reflects the hardware itself, reflects Web3 values, which is privacy, ownership, and decentralization itself. And I think two reasons we are seeing this shift on the ground level. It's data sovereignty and monetization concerns. People want control over the data and identities, and Web3 hardware I would say, provides for that, and the Deepin narrative itself, and the advancements of Deepin also making it easier to build those decentralized alternatives to traditional infrastructure. There's also storage, compute, and connectivity, which were the main themes. So short blockchain hardware, we think that is not just a short-term trend. It is one of the natural steps in evolution towards a truly decentralized digital future. That is powered by our space by Web3.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you look at the history of crypto, the short history of crypto. It makes a lot of sense also why software decentralization came first, because the cost is so much lower, right, to do that. And to make decentralized hardware, you have a lot more upfront costs to do that. And I think maybe it's even a harder problem in general. So yeah, it looks like you think now is the time for hardware. Like we have the software infrastructure at a place, um, and we have kind of enough capital built up into crypto where hardware decentralization can really start to come into play. And that was going to kind of be my last question, which was, um, it does seem like there's a lot more hardware being released recently, and so this, I think you already answered that. The answer would be maybe now is the time for it. Is that correct?
Yes, and I think this is kind of market agnostic itself, whether the market is doing well in crypto or not. People will still be using the smartphones and the devices themselves. And I think the next step to kind of evolve beyond that, the Web3 bubble that some might be in, it's essentially to introduce the products which are appealing to wider audience itself. And there are billions of devices globally as well. And Web3 is a great, I would say, onboarding tool and a tool to empower the people who already own the devices and just finding the way, they have to be connected with the internet, with the IoT, from the IoT perspective. To get plugged, to be plugged into the space with Web3 and their passive rewards earning.
Right. Great. All right. So last follow-up question, and this is the last thing I'm going to ask you about. But just going back to something you said earlier, you talked about how 30% of your users, and I'm guessing this is users for the XForge phone, or is this
Yes.
for X protocol for the phone?
Yeah. So 30% of all buyers.
Okay, 30% of your buyers are new, are non-native crypto users. Um, are these mostly from Asia, or what area geographically are these users from mostly?
Yeah. So surprisingly, a lot of them are from Europe. Um,
Oh, wow.
as well. So Europe, North America, as well as South America, as well. Our initial assumption was our device will be only appealing to the developing markets, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, for example. But when we launched it itself, we had our campaign distribution. We already had our existing community, mainly from Asia, for X protocol at the time. We had a lot of people from the developed markets as well. Canada, Germany. Germany is one of our top markets as well. A couple of countries in Europe, including Poland. In Asia, we are very big in South Korea as well, which was surprising for us as well. So a lot of a lot of our user base actually for the devices themselves were from the developed markets as well. So the reasoning is a lot of people. We are not competing with the likes of iPhones, right? That's a different price range, but a lot of people were actually buying us as the secondary phone that they can use for the crypto, I'll say, needs themselves. We might not be the primary phone, where some we can be, but for a lot of developed markets, essentially like more affluent class, they are using iPhones as well as the high
Right.
performance phone itself. But they were still buying our phone as a secondary alternative with our main one. In the developing markets, a lot of people were buying us with the perspective of using it as the primary phone. So because of the price point, one phone costs $200 itself, which fits right in the range of I would say a good quality Android phone itself, but not as powerful and as high quality as the iPhones, which are targeting kind of a higher range of more
Right.
higher range users. I would say so. We are appealing to both markets themselves, and we are also looking to partner up with potentially with some of the telecommunications companies as well to distribute it across. And the way to, because a lot of them are looking to expand into Web3, they just don't know how as well, and we could be the conduit for that.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, thank you, Peter, so much for this interview. I appreciate it. I found it very fascinating.
Thank you, David, for your time.